Falcon fans, Falcon Nation, if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button, leave a like, and definitely come to the stream with the comments. As I am your host here at DFU, followed by my awesome panel of co-hosts, Robert and Cody, tonight to bring you some more Atlanta Falcon uh, content and just an overall weekly long podcast as DFU is trying to scramble up a group of people to stick around as we talk about Dirty Birds throughout this off season, as there will be a lot to chat about. We have another special guest in the back of the building here. Rick James is here to talk Falcon football, another co-host
Rick.
here
Yeah.
from DFU. Falcon fans, hit that like button, leave a comment as we have a lot to talk about here tonight. This is the third podcast in a row this week, guys. So continue to follow and hit that subscribe button as we support you and you support us and grow to 230. Robert, what's going on, man? How you doing?
Doing pretty good. Had my chiropractor appointment this afternoon, got loosened up a little bit, and just excited about what's coming down the pipe for our Dirty Birds. A lot of big decisions to be made, but it should be interesting.
Yo, absolutely. Guys, I apologize for any glitches I have tonight on my side of the panel. I'm having some internet issues right now, and so it's a little glitchy on my side when you guys speak. Cody, what's going on? Glad to have you here tonight to talk some Falcon football. How you doing, brother? News broke today. John Harbaugh is officially available to any team in the NFL. Cody, your thoughts? How you doing?
Doing good, man. I would say super excited. Got a new players for work, so always exciting when you get a new toy to play with at work and you get paid to drive that thing around. So that was, I mean, that's been
Nice.
That's as exciting that is, man. This offseason news, just keeps getting better for our Falcons. It seems like, hey, we may have let go of our GM and our head coach at the right time for the first time in a while because some big names popping up, boys.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yes, sir. Some big names to look at and chat about as tonight's show is Falcons have options, ranking GMs and head coach candidates with DFU tonight on a Tuesday night as the Atlanta Falcons ramp up Thursday to have a media press conference as to what the steps are looking forward with AB and the Atlanta Falcons. Rick, what's going on, man? Been a minute. Glad to have you here on the show tonight to talk some Falcon football. Big news, John Harbaugh is available as well as Clint Kubiak, people that the Falcons have requested to interview here. Just hearing those names, man, I mean, does it kind of excite you that the Falcons are head coachless and GM list right now?
Absolutely. I think we're finally at a point where I think it was Cody that just said it, where we're hitting the timing at the right time. Last couple cycles, whenever we lost our head coach, we kind of had to go with that coordinator that just took off the year before and kind of sign him to give him his first opportunity. I think we've done that. Actually, we've done that. Mike Smith, Dan Quinn, the guy before, Arthur Smith. And see, that's how you know Arthur Smith was so bad. I can't even remember who it was. And then, so actually, we've done that 4 years in a row. And so I was really big on, I know we're going to get a little deeper on this. I was really big on Stefanski. I thought that was a good idea until John Harbaugh came out, because that's such an established winner that just knows how to build a culture, build long-term sustainable success. Yeah. Even with these other guys, they've had success. Don't get me wrong, but that's a next level Hall of Fame coach, right? And so I think I'd rather do that than Belichick. I think Belichick's a little bit beyond. Yeah. I just don't think it matches up with the culture of our team. But I think we should go all in on Harbaugh. And then if we fall on Stefanski or one of those guys, I'm excited too.
Yeah. Stefanski was a name that we brought up last night. We talked about it a couple of times. And one of the questions that got brought up in the chat, or it was either by a co-host, I can't remember. One of the questions were, what excites Falcon fans about Stefanski? And Rick, if you would, just elaborate some of the reasons of why you're, cool with Stefanski landing here in Atlanta, as he is a two-time Coach of the Year candidate here, now available to interview with whoever.
And so I'll just hit on one point and give you guys some other talking points. What is the reason that somebody wins Coach of the Year? You win Coach of the Year because you took a team that they didn't think had the possibility of doing something and you made them a contender, which means you didn't implement your systems. You took what pieces you had and you made lemonade out of lemons, right? And one of the comments I heard, which I totally agree with, is we don't need another, hey, I'm going to force my style onto this team and hopefully the pieces fit. We need okay, what do we got? How do we maximize this? I actually think Arthur Smith did that pretty good. He changed our offense completely and was like, all right, we're going to run Cordarrelle. We're going to run a little out. Like, we're just going to kind of flag football it down the field, right? And so I think Stefanski had to do that. Looking at the Cleveland Browns, I mean, I think he had a different quarterback every 3 games, and he was able to make that happen. I mean, when you can plug in Joe Flacco and put up 400 or 500 yards, obviously Flacco's probably going to be a Hall of Fame quarterback at this point. But I just like that he can come in and mold and take a young team that's not established. All the Cleveland Browns were all young players, and he can make something happen. So I'm excited about that.
Yeah. It's just some fans were last night, even on Twitter and Facebook, I seen like they were raving about the idea of the Atlanta Falcons to even consider Stefanski. And I'm like, dude, the guy took the Cleveland Browns to the playoffs 11-5 his very first season with Cleveland. He had quarterbacks like Jameis Winston at one point. A lot of fans were even speaking about the Shedeur Sanders situation of how he handled that. That's a whole topic for something else. But real quick, shout out to Sterling Woods here in the comment sections. Falcons have some options. I hope they don't mess this up. My guy Caleb in the chat would have said, let's bring in Harbaugh. So one of our first topics of tonight's show is GMs and not messing up the situation here that the Atlanta Falcons are in, as we talked about last night, being possibly the biggest offseason you've had, the biggest shakeup this franchise has seen in quite some time since, the release of Terry Fontenot and that regime there that was, once your GM for 12 years is what Terry Fontenot was in Atlanta. That's just a number I'm throwing out there. It was quite a while.
You mean Thomas
Terry
Dimitroff?
Obviously only what did I say?
Terry Fontenot.
Not Terry Fontenot, Thomas Dimitroff.
Yeah, okay. I just want to make
Fontenot,
sure.
Yeah.
TF, same thing.
So Terry Fontenot, 5 years here in Atlanta, not quite near the time that Thomas Dimitroff had here in Atlanta. So not as big of a shakeup, but still a big situation where if you nail this, you could make some damage here in the next upcoming season or seasons to come. Next comment here from It's Caleb says Stefanski would be good 2 times.
Coach of the year.
Coach of the year. Browns traded away everyone and expected him to win. They did have a big trade with the receiver situation in Cleveland as well. Sterling Wood says, man, John can bring Ty with him, would be a veteran presence to be in the locker room. So just real quick, hit on this comment here. Todd Monken and, John Harbaugh, the rumor had it on Twitter that maybe the Ravens were arguing about the fact that he didn't want to release Todd Monken. Now, this is just a rumor that I read today. Your guys' thoughts on John Harbaugh, and if he was somehow to bring, the offensive coordinator, Todd Monken, not to mention the news broke today that he has already had 7 people call his agent asking to interview John Harbaugh, and just was released this afternoon.
Yeah, it's if Harbaugh comes to Atlanta and brings Monken with him, that's automatically going to stir up excitement. He was the offensive coordinator under Kirby Smart that brought back-to-back national titles to Athens. So, the Falcon fans are going to be over the moon, and, I'm including myself in that. Will he bring him with him? I don't know. But that would be, an automatic shot in the arm right there for this franchise and for the community.
Yep, absolutely. Cody, your thoughts?
Yeah, well, and you know what excites me most about John Harbaugh is that, he's great with quarterbacks. He can coach quarterbacks. So we got a young quarterback that needs a ton of coaching. And we need, and hopefully, I won't get too far into the Kirk Cousins restructure because I'm sure it's something we're going to talk about. Now you've got a John Harbaugh that, can really get into Michael Penix's ear, really be behind him. And then you bring in a dynamic offensive play caller like Monken here. Look at what he did with Georgia. Like, to Robert's point, 2 back-to-back national titles is not a joke. And we see what Georgia Bulldogs do when they get into the NFL. That's why the Eagles have success, is because they've got a team full of dogs. And it's the same, if the Falcons can follow that recipe, it's a quick turnaround. It fixes your offensive problems because you've got a quarterback guru and a great offensive coordinator. And it makes sense.
Yep. And to that point as well, Stetson Bennett was, basically a walk-on. He came from a junior college. Nobody gave him a chance. And that's your that's your back-to-back winning quarterback right there under Monken. So if he's going to do that with, somebody that was kind of under the radar like Stetson, I mean, what's he going to do with a proven NFL quarterback?
So that's the biggest question that looms around the whole room right now, and even throughout the whole offseason until we figure the situation out. As Cody did say, the Kirk Cousins extension today, or the restructure, whatever you may call it, we'll run through exactly what that deal means. At first, when the news broke, to me, it seemed as, okay, well, Kirk's the quarterback for 2 years. But then I actually dove into the understanding of what that deal meant. And we have a list here, courtesy of our guy, David, another co-host here of the show. We'll run through that here in just a second. But the biggest question is, what quarterback on this roster is running a Monken offensive coordinating game? Because it ain't Kirk Cousins, and it ain't going to be Penix right off of a ACL surgery.
No.
Well, Kirk would have to figure it out. And I think, I know you kind of want a mobile quarterback, running that system. It's, kind of important. But I think that they could make adjustments. And that's what good offense, again, it's something the Falcons haven't been good at, is making adjustments. But these guys can come in and make adjustments. The Ravens make adjustments at halftimes. They can tweak and twitch things around in this offense to make it work and fit Kirk Cousins, but still make it, dynamic and successful without him being that mobile,
A name that I've been quite, and shout out to Dijon for his comments, a name that I've been quite shy to even speak on was Mac Jones. But a Mac Jones and a Tom Monken offense, maybe. Malik Willis, maybe, if you have the right people to coach that guy. Like Matt LaFleur is the coordinator in Green Bay, and you've seen the production that he was able to give when his number was called on with a good coach and good offensive-minded coordinator. Robert, Rick, the question goes to you. John Harbaugh, what would it mean to land this guy? And if he brought a Tom Monken over to be on his crew, just your thoughts.
I think it brings extreme credibility. I think it brings stability. I think it brings reliability in the moments in which the Falcons have choked in the past, I'll just say 15 years since Matt Ryan's been here. And to me, I also think it brings an element of a player's coach, and also a person who, is on the other end, expects, people to show up and go to work, and, whatever that coach is called. So I think it's a mix of both. But I think just having, the credibility, the experience in these tight moments, down to the wire, 2-minute drills, when to use the timeouts, when to play players, when to not, what to do in the preseason. I mean, he's done this for 12 years in a row, and he, outside of a couple seasons, I can't remember off the top of my head, he had a perennial winner almost as good as the Steelers, right? Yeah. Almost as good as Mike Tomlin, if not better. I think he won a Super Bowl or maybe two. So, and I think also having a very experienced play caller that's done it at all levels and done it at a high level. And also, let's not forget that before Derrick Henry, the Ravens don't really have the greatest offense in the world. They have Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
But nobody remembers their wide receivers. Remember, we used to talk about their wide receivers all the time. They're dropping the ball. They can't catch. If they just got wide receivers, they didn't have anybody to run the ball, and he was still able to make things happen. So once you guys mentioned that, I think it does make sense. I'm sure Monken, with as much time as he spent in Georgia, might have some family and some homes here. I don't know exactly where he lives and what his situation is. So it might be attractive to him to be like, oh, I can go back to Atlanta where I'm worshipped.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
and then I can follow my guy. We have extremely talented team, so I think
Bijan in a Tom Monken style. Oh my.
I mean, if you tell me it's going to be Matt Ryan, Harbaugh, Monken, and then maybe Ulbrich, or I'm okay if they go with another experienced defensive coordinator. I mean, I really like that'll probably be the best. No, that will be the best coaching group this franchise has ever had by far. I don't even think anyone even comes close.
And John Harbaugh alone, with what he's achieved, ranks higher than any offensive or any head coach that we've had in the past decade for sure. So definitely an exciting times as a Falcon fan to know the names that you could land here in Atlanta. The biggest question for you guys, and I guess the chat as well, we'll get to some more comments here in just a second because we have some good topics to chat about tonight, but is the fact that the defense is so young, right? Like this defense is so young. Everywhere you look around the board is young, other than Caden Ellis, a vet. Anamata probably played his last down as a Falcon this last game. And even though he was probably one of his best seasons here in Atlanta in quite a while, Anamata played a big role in that. Yeah, he did. So the biggest thing for me is if you can find a way to grab Jeff Ulbrich on some type of, look, this is what he's done. John Harbaugh evaluates it and likes what Jeff Ulbrich has, brought to the building. Then make that happen, because I think Jeff had such a hand in creating this defense. You hear in the interviews, James Pierce Jr. talked about how the defense finally got to their goal of the season. Their goal was to be able to just rush 4 people and have more people on the back end. And James Pierce talks about how Jeff Ulbrich and all those guys held him to such a high standard, and that's where they finally ultimately got, was to be able to rush 4 people. James Pierce Jr. with 10.5 sacks on the season. It's almost unheard of a rookie to do it since Micah Parsons. So I just think Jeff has such a big deal
in
with
half a season. Half a season,
bro. He wasn't even a starter. So I just think he's got such a big hand and knows these players so well. I mean, he was a big part of why James Pierce is even in Atlanta. Right. So if there's any way you can retain him, man, I think that should be one of your top priorities heading off into the whole head coach search type deal. I'm not saying you don't hire somebody just because they say no, don't bring Jeff Ulbrich. We don't want Jeff Ulbrich, and if we can't hire you if you can't keep Jeff Ulbrich. I don't want that to be the situation. But if you can find a way, because I think that's a big plus. But headed to the comment section,
right? With continuing it on from what they had, because if what they're reporting was right about the last experience that Terry Fontenot and Ra had in the locker room, then that team, can we go ahead and stop the bullshit with they lost the locker room?
Yeah, they didn't lose the locker room.
No, I don't
that was clear. Those
players
do not agree with Arthur Blank. They do not agree with Arthur Blank. But that's a whole nother situation, right? And so to me, if I was looking at it and I'm coming in as Harbaugh, I might say, you know what? I got a bunch of young players. They had a ton of momentum. I don't want to disrupt that. We got our offensive side handled. I can be the head coach. He's already got the defense established. We're going into year 2. They're comfortable with him. We're giving them somebody to connect to and stay connected to and not want to leave. Mm-hmm. Like, how can we keep that going? And then we have Matt Ryan, right? I think it's just a glue that kind of holds it all together. I think that's I would like to see that.
Well, see, and that's kind of like to our point on, last night's podcast is, you want to bring in that guy, when we were talking about, new coach versus, old school coach versus can they, handle these young guys. And that's the great thing about John Harbaugh is that he's kind of both of those things. Like he is a player's coach, but at the same time, he's also that, hey, we're going to put our nose to the grindstone and we're going to work. And I think that's what the Falcons absolutely need right now is that coach that can bring both of those elements in, because I'm sure that's why a lot of players are upset that Raw's gone because he was a player's coach. And it's hard not to like guys like that. Yeah. And so when you lose somebody like that, it does. But that's, again, to Rick's point, I think that's a great thing about John Harbaugh is that he brings in both elements of that, hey, I'm on your side, I'm a player's coach, but at the same time, we're gonna handle business. And I think that's exactly what Atlanta needs.
Yeah, I want to add.
Go ahead, Robert.
I want to add an example to that point. This was a long time ago, but back in '82, when the Bears hired Mike Ditka as head coach, all the defensive players wrote a letter to George Halas and said, no matter who you bring in as the head coach, we want to keep Buddy Ryan as defensive coordinator. Mm-hmm. And the owner brought the letter into the locker room and he told the players, said, you guys had the guts to do this. You want him, you got him. So, there are a lot of people like, well, the new head coach is going to bring in their guys and all that. Not necessarily. If the players really want to keep Jeff Ulbrich on as defensive coordinator, and if Matt Ryan is in fact going to be the new president of football operations, which is a horribly kept secret, it's going to happen. I'd be willing to bet the farm on it. But, all these things could be taken into consideration, no matter who the next head coach is going to be. And, they're all professionals, and, egos could be put aside and it could work.
Hey,
Yeah.
I want to say, Cody, coming right to you. I just want to say this one thing. If you're just tuning in now, we've reached the highest number we've had all night. That's why I'm making this announcement. If you hashtag DFU, we are giving away a free raffle here of Falcon merch coming from me this time. It's my turn to do the giveaway. So we hit 6:30. The goal was to get 10 subscribers after that one podcast. You guys went crazy and hit us with 20 subscribers in the last 2 days. So shout out to all you guys. Also, hashtag DFU is how you're entered into that raffle. Cody, back to you, dog.
Yeah, and again, I think Robert kind of hit the point right there too. Is what makes all this work is Matt Ryan. He's that guy that's going to be like when the players are like, "Well, we want because these guys are going to be going to bat for Jeff because of the job he has done." And I think that's where Matt, not only is the player that played, but also being the business person, can go look and tell Arthur Blank, look. These guys are rallying around him. This is the decision, and he can talk to John, and he's that guy that bridges that gap between player and coach. And, and that's why I think it's so important that we have, like Robert said, I think it's the best, worst kept secret that Matt Ryan is definitely hands in 100% in. And I think that's a sign of a good direction is that Matt can be that guy to be like, look, give this to the players. Because I can tell you from my experience of being the Falcon quarterback, for 14 seasons, that this would have made a difference to me, that this would have meant a lot to us as a group, as a unit. And that's, and I think that's where Matt is going to play such a huge role in being the president of football operations.
Yeah.
Can we just, for a split second, soak in and enjoy what could happen of Matt Ryan, the best player to ever wear the jersey, period. The best winner, the hardest worker, the best leader, to be the face and the front of this franchise. Yeah, please, God, if you love us at all, and it's not can we just put our guy? He's our guy. Can we just
reach on, brother Rick?
Yeah, I agree.
My God, that's my number one player. I've loved Matt Ryan since the day he came on. He's such a leader. I tell this all the time. I actually messaged Bijan after his game when I watched his telecast. My girl asked me, who's the best player to watch? And I talked about Bijan. It had nothing to do with his athletic ability. I said, listen to this man talk. Mm-hmm. Matt Ryan is a leader. He's a hard worker. He expects more from other people. He gives for other people. He's charitable. He's a great representative. Like that, to me, football is super important. But there's other things to life that are more important than that. And what a representative to have for this franchise, and someone who is a absolute killer savage when it comes to competition.
Yes.
We see that in Matt Ryan. Everybody says, he's not competitive and he's not this and that. You ain't paying attention. Yeah. Right. And I want that guy to be the top, because in my opinion, again, except for Arthur Blank, because when Arthur Blank got this team and where it is now, it's a completely different franchise. Matt Ryan's number 2 in Falcon history of who deserves a ring, in my personal opinion. Yep. Arthur Blank, number 1, Matt Ryan, number 2. And I think he'll go get it.
Yep.
And
really looking forward to it.
To that point, Rick, Matt, if he does get this job, and like I said, it's a horribly kept secret. I'm pretty sure he's going to get it. But for him to give up a TV analyst job to come back,
probably $10 million a year at least.
Yeah, and to be the face of the franchise in front of a fan base that a good number of the people in the fan base berated, belittled, and ridiculed him and insulted him after all he had done for the city of Atlanta, for the organization, and he is willing to do that.
We also
that right there proved to me he is committed.
Yep.
He is committed to making this one.
Yep. And he still was like, beat the Saints, Atlanta. I'm not leaving. I'm taking care of the city. I'm donating the money. I'm doing the thing, man. Y'all better put some respect on that, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep, Matty Ice is him, man. Shout out to Aries Falcon. I do have you in the raffle for the hashtag DFU. You and Sterling Woods are the only two so far. So hashtag DFU. That's what we need here in the chat. So the next topic, we kind of got on the rabbit trail there talking about all the possible GM situations here in Atlanta. Kirk Cousins did restructure today or reevaluate his contract. It says what the restructure did, Falcons and Kirk Cousins agreed to modify the final 2 years of his contract. The restructure adjusts how his remaining compensation is paid and creates clear decision points for both sides. 2026 salary significantly reduced. Cousins' base salary from 2026 was cut from $35 million down to $2.1 million freeing up a big chunk of cap space for Atlanta. It added vestings guaranteed for 2027. A $67.9 million vesting guaranteed for the 2027 season was added that vests on March the 13th of 2026. If that guarantee triggers, it gives Cousin major financial protection. If not, Falcons can move on with less cost. This decision time, obviously March 13th, 2026. It is now critical deadline that when the 2017 guarantee vests, the Falcons will have until to decide whether to keep Cousins under current terms, work out a new deal, or move on. So it's kind of a Kirk Cousins patting our back, we'll pat your back situation that happened here in Atlanta. So that was one of my topics, and I want to give all you guys a chance to speak on that, the restructure and what that means for Atlanta. But go ahead, let me pull it up because this is a whole article. Go ahead and speak about
real quick. I missed that last part because I was looking for an article. Did you see what Mike Bell put about what that restructure means?
No, what did Mike?
He basically
Bell
had a cap expert, and he was like, based on the cap expert, he said that a restructure like this typically means that Kirk is gone.
Yeah,
he said that means that Kirk is out.
Yep. Robert, your thoughts on the restructure?
30 mil, bro. 30 mil back in the bank.
Yep, exactly. But what I'm wondering is, I mean, if, this is just coming out now, and, since Terry's been fired, who actually did the negotiation?
That's what I said.
Yeah.
Who's the GM right now? What's going on?
Is it Greg Beatles? Is that who's
Matt?
My point to this is you make this decision, you do this, which might be an obvious thing, like everyone would make this decision, but then you hand it over to someone else, and you're like, all right.
Yeah, here you
that
go.
Stuff normally doesn't happen like that.
It doesn't.
So that's what makes me think that Matt Ryan's, they're just like, all right, are you going to work at CBS or not? How much money, how much time can you spend here? What's your official role going to be? We'll announce it. Let's talk to John. John, are you cool with Matt? Matt, you cool with John? All right, cool.
Well, and on the tail end of that, the $67.1 million. I mean, if something were to happen that Kirk stays on the roster, will that affect the 2027 cap?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It'll affect us. It'll affect us for a minute, I'm sure, if we have to fork that up to a vet quarterback on his way out to retirement. If you look at the smart side of it, the Falcons are definitely cutting him, whether they found somebody or not. He's out of here. Yeah, that was to free up money. He is completely out of here.
The biggest problem, so John Harbaugh's, let's just say John Harbaugh, for example, is going to come in without a quarterback and get us to the playoffs.
That's what I'm saying, dude.
I'm looking at the market
weak. It is weak this year, bro.
But can I also say this?
You know what the most Atlanta move would be, Rick? And I don't see Matt Ryan doing it now. If Matt Ryan becomes
Jameis Winston,
no.
I might not be.
I swear to God, if Justin Fields is.
I knew you were going to say that, Cody.
Morgan and Justin Fields.
Yeah,
get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I swear to God, Justin Fields coming out of your mouth.
No, what I was going to say is, I do want to say this though, all this tornado, hurricane shit has been happening, and I think we're getting caught up in it. Me personally, I'm only speaking for myself. I've not given up on Michael Penix. I liked Michael Penix. I liked what he was doing. I believed in him going into the season. I was excited about it. He had a setback. It didn't go the way we want. I'm not going to do what everybody else does. Look at Sam Darnold. Look at all these other guys. They get in the right place, right position. They get an opportunity. They make things happen. So I just want to say officially, I have not given up on Michael Penix. I just think we need a gap, a bridge somebody, or, because who's going to start the season? They say Penix is going to be ready, but, then what, you don't have a backup and Harbaugh, and he gets hurt, and then Harbaugh loses his first season.
You got to bring in somebody. So if a name like Malik Willis, and I've seen Malik Willis in this lab for over and over now, would Malik Willis be a bridge until Penix could get back?
He would be a bridge. It might be a wooden bridge.
Shit.
Oh, same. Held together.
He has one game, dude. One game.
Yeah, I agree. So what about
and we gave up on him 2 years ago or whatever.
What about a veteran Mac Jones?
Mac Jones, I'm in on. Mac Jones, I think consistent. Who said this? One of our coaches, I don't remember who it was, said they can run the operation. Can they run the operation? He may not make all the throws, I think it was Mariota. When Mariota was our coach, it was like, Ritter's not ready. Mariota can run the offense. Is it our best option? No, but he can run it. And I see that about Mac Jones. Mac Jones can make plays. He's consistent. He'll be reliable. He's young, so there is potential there for things. So I don't want like a super old retread like what's his name that bounces around all the time. I think he played for the Cardinals and the Patriots. Played for the Colts for a while.
Brissett.
Brissett. I don't want Brissett. I don't want Winston. I don't want Russell Wilson. I'd rather have a Mac Jones or, I don't even know if there's any other options besides Mac Jones. Shit.
What about
Ricky, we got
Joe
you in the
Flacco?
raffle, brother. I got your name down. Joe Flacco.
John Harbaugh.
I'm in on Flacco. I'll never doubt Flacco again after the last 3 seasons I've seen.
Say that's my thing. John Harbaugh used to be his head coach. If you want something cheap, and I'm not saying long term, I'm not saying whatever. Have him play the games that you got to have him play, and then have your young quarterback ready to go.
Yeah.
And this would be the team that, because he had Cleveland. This would be the team that Flacco actually wouldn't have to put the team on his back like he's been doing the last couple regimes he's been on, because he'd give it to Bijan.
Yep.
And, the Bengals are going to be all in on Burrow's return anyway, because that's pretty much going to make Flacco expendable, and, he might wind up here.
Yep.
I think I saw a locker room interview with Joe Flacco where he was telling all the players, bye, thanks for your time. Appreciate you guys, had fun playing with you. So I think he's already out.
Yeah. There's teams already calling, 7 teams already, and that was within an hour of him announcing that he was fired. So definitely going to be a hot topic throughout the offseason, John Harbaugh. As Zachary here says, Clint with Ulbrich, John, no Ulbrich, 3, Kevin with Ulbrich, got to be in that order. So if why no Ulbrich in the John scenario?
No, I guess.
That's just my question. Shout out to Zachary. Hit that subscribe button, brother, if you're new to the channel.
He's just saying if John comes, he may not bring Ulbrich. So he's,
Yeah.
What is John's forte? Is he offensive coach or defensive coach?
He's a defensive.
He's a defensive coach. Okay, so then he probably would have to bring in Todd Monken or one of the other.
That's what I was kind of
maybe it could be like John Harbaugh and Stefanski or one of those guys running the offense or something like that. That could be, an opportunity there. But if we don't have a experienced play caller on offense, I don't care what none of this does.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not going to matter what you do.
Yeah.
Our offense has been 40% of our plays were Bijan Robinson. That cannot happen next year.
No, especially don't get me wrong. Like, I'm glad we beat the Saints. I don't care as long as we beat the Saints. But Rick, you were there. Were you see the same thing I was? Saints, we're not going to let Bijan beat them. Stack the box, and we just kept running the ball.
If the Saints had a better run game, we probably would have lost that game.
Yeah, it's just like you can't wear. Don't get me wrong. Bijan is the heart and soul of this offense, 100%. Our success runs through Bijan. It does, but you cannot because teams are going to take him away. Like, as great as Bijan is, there's just going to be times where Bijan just can't be the answer.
It happens.
And you're going
4 games this season.
Yeah, and you have to adjust, and it's just like you got to do something about it. It was so frustrating to watch. Like, it's just like, to Rick's point, 70% of your offense cannot go through Bijan Robinson all the time. When it's working, it's working. Like when it was a Cardinal game and that's what was working, and people were like, why are we only feeding Bijan? It's like, because Bijan's kicking their ass. It's like, so of course. But then games against the Saints, like last, Sunday, where Bijan, can't get through because they've loaded the box and they're, keying on Bijan. You have to get away from that. You can't always rely on Bijan, to save your ass. Sometimes you gotta, start throwing to Kyle Pitts. If you're gonna the what?
Did you guys talk about that Saints game?
Yeah,
somewhat.
I got home late, so I didn't get it. I thought in that game, their defense is better than anybody gives them credit for. I think it was Kirk on this open mic, or one of the things he was like, "That's a top 10 defense." I don't care what nobody says. Like, that defense is stiff.
Yeah,
but also the play calling to start the game, they were trying to be way too cute.
Yeah, they were.
As soon as I saw, no offense, I love to give Tyler the ball. I get it. The first snap you have Tyler out there, I was like,
yeah, they ran a double set quite a while.
y'all are going to try. We're not just going to do what we know we like to. And then they never got to it until later on in the game. And I'm just like,
I also don't think that – I think that game
the
looked
screen
really
on
bad.
first down got intercepted. Like, what?
I also think that game looked really bad because I do think Kirk was sick. Like,
he
from
definitely
what I
was
understand,
sick.
I think and if he had what I had that week before, I understand why Kirk played the way that he played because it was not fun.
Yeah,
I think our offensive line got their ass whooped.
They did easily.
Yeah,
Rick, on the live reaction, dude, I was so heated. I said it's time for the Falcons to draft a left tackle because Chase Young ate Jake Matthews' dinner.
Yeah,
I mean,
I think Wilkerson got ate up a lot too.
He did. He did.
But yeah, they were constant. I mean, I'm in the Saints section. I'm like, is Cam Jordan having a resurgence game today? Like, what is going on here? Like,
I think a lot of that gets fixed though when you get Caleb and Gary back though. You know, that's I mean, you still probably need a left tackle, and I'm okay with that, being our number one pick this year. But again, it's one of those things. I think the size of our offensive line hurts us sometimes. It really does.
Yep. So kind of getting off topic here, just to move along to the next topic of the night. GM Ian Cunningham, I believe I'm saying that correct, was requested to be interviewed for the GM spot here in Atlanta. I don't know much about GMs. I'm going to keep it a buck. I'm hoping somebody here on the podcast does because I currently don't. Ian Cunningham was a guy that was requested to interview. Just your guys' thoughts on that and what it means for when you're looking for a GM and, what aspects grab out to you for this GM and just how do you pair that with, possibly grabbing a head coach? Because, most GMs have a little bit of say in the head coach, correct?
Yeah, and from what I've heard about Cunningham, he's really been the big name that's really popped up, especially for us. He works directly under I think his name's Ryan Poles, who's the actual GM with the Bears, and I think he was a college teammate of Matt Ryan's at Boston College or something like that. So there's some familiarity there. And they said that I've also heard that he was instrumental in, the decision on drafting Caleb Williams. And, it's worked out. And of course, they snagged two of our best players, Grady Jarrett and Drew Dahlman, and the Bears are in the playoffs.
Yep.
So, right. I mean, I think it would be a good move. And I'm like you, Chase. I don't know much about GMs, but, I like what I've heard about Ian Cunningham. I think it would be a good hire.
Cody?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to keep it 100% with y'all. I don't know shit about GMs. I don't pay attention.
I don't either.
I don't pay attention to the nerd side of football. I'll talk to you about playing the game and all that stuff. But when it comes so my biggest thing with GMs is be able to identify players that my team needs and know how to work the salary cap. That's all I ask. Is know those two jobs.
Yeah, absolutely. As Zachary here in the chat says, won 2 Super Bowls with the Ravens and Eagles. He was also head of player scouting with both teams throughout that time. So he definitely, if he's part of those Super Bowls, definitely was able to pick some talent because Eagles went straight dogs like for 2 years straight there for a while.
Yep.
Rick, any words on Ian Cunningham here in Atlanta as they request to see him as being the GM in Atlanta?
He has a lot of experience with championship teams, spent 8 years with the Ravens, was a scout through his entire career, which I think is a big part of the GM that we kind of talked about picking the players. Won a Super Bowl with the first team he was with, went to the Eagles, spent 5 or so years with them, won a Super Bowl with them, and then now is part of turning the Bears around. If we know where the Bears were in 2022 and where they are now, they've definitely shown an upward trajectory. I mean, I think even last season, the year before, we were like, the Bears, they're kind of making some noise and beating up on the Packers occasionally and kind of, making some things happen. So, and if he has connections to some of the other, Matt and whatever the talk was there, I think it's a great opportunity. He's very experienced in team building. I think both of those teams, I mean, he rebuilt the Eagles. Or what do you call it? Like
retooled,
retooled the Eagles. Yeah. So I think that's a great opportunity. I'll look into that, or I'll consider that as well. I just want these guys to I think it was Mike Johnson who, I love that Mike Johnson is on 92.9 The Game all the time. When he came on our podcast, I barely knew him. I listened to him. I was like, I like the way this guy talked.
Yeah.
I love him being on 92.9. And I think he talked about, he's like, I just want people to come in here that understand the pieces we have and what the pieces we need and how they fit together, and stop trying to glue and take pieces that don't really make sense for the offense, for the defense, for the direction we're going, and really put the right players and the right pieces we need to operate this offense. And so, kind of like I think Dan Quinn did that with our defense. He handpicked Deion Jones, Keanu Neal. He was like, no, this player is going to play this role. He's going to do this, and this guy's going to cover wide. Deion Jones is going to cover right. And so, hopefully we'll kind of get that, because we have a lot of strong pieces, guys. Like, I'm very confident in the team on paper, but, it's who's going to get out there and execute, put the game plan together. So what's next?
Yep, absolutely. Heading into our next topic here tonight, one of our topics I wanted to hit on was which hire would be the right hire, but which hire would absolutely just win over the fan base?
I don't think you could on the list. I don't think you could miss from the list we have. Well, we got Harbaugh, we got Stefanski, and
so let's put it like this: if you had to rank it, who's your favorite head coach hire and who's your least favorite head coach hire? Because the Falcons didn't expect it to be Raheem Morris last year, or at least I didn't up until the last moment when the rumors started coming out. Who is your favorite and who is your least favorite candidate for this position?
Harbaugh obviously would be the odds-on favorite because of the pedigree he brings. But for me personally, the one that I wouldn't want, and he was just relieved of his duties as offensive coordinator in Washington today, is I don't want that arrogant Cliff Kingsbury. I don't want him here as head coach.
You're no on that? He was on my list, actually. So you don't like Cliff Kingsbury? No,
I just seeing what he did in Arizona. Just I don't know, just left a bad impression on me. And he kind of reminds me a little bit of, I hate to bring up the name, but Bobby Petrino. I mean, he's not a coward like Petrino, but I think he let his ego get in the way, and that's just my observation. I could be wrong, but. Yeah, and don't get me wrong. I mean, the guy's an offensive genius, but would he be suited for our culture as head coach? I just don't see it.
No. Cody, your favorite hire and your least favorite hire for the head coaching position?
Yeah, sorry, I was checking to see if Mike had responded back to my email. I think John Harbaugh is definitely my favorite 1-2 right now. Just to be a little, I'll try to be a little different here. If Matt LaFleur was to get released from Green Bay,
I'm glad you brought the name up, because I just read today, because we talked about last night how it would be a crazy coincidence if Green Bay released him. The news came out today, 22 hours ago. They reported that the Green Bay Packers most the biggest thing they were keying in on right now was making sure Matt LaFleur got extended.
Did he got extended? Okay,
so we'll see.
I would say, well, that sucks. I would say, then I guess I'm going to have to stick with John Harbaugh then. I would say least, man, I would say at this point, just don't give me, I have no problem with Stefanski. I guess Robert kind of took my Cliff Kingsbury 1-2, because I was kind of no, you're good. You're good. I would say, I know a lot of Cardinal fans, being back from that, that area. And they just absolutely hated everything that he did, and just the way the team kind of shaped out, just kind of sparingly seeing, his tenure there in Arizona and how god awful that was. Now a lot of that could be Kyler Murray. I don't really know, but it seems like he kind of turned it around a little bit, this year, but I guess, that's who I don't want to necessarily want to see him, just because I feel like he kind of got his shot, but I don't know. That's a crazy thing about the NFL, man. It's like you go coach Arizona and you absolutely suck. Then you go get an offensive coordinator job and you do really good. And then do you come to Atlanta and you put it all together? Or do you come to Atlanta and do the same thing? Yeah, exactly. Well, I think I was never super thrilled about Raheem Morris, just because, he didn't do jack shit in Tampa Bay. He was an okay, defensive coordinator. He did win a ring in LA, but I don't think that had anything to do with, with him being over there. That was more, just had a really good team,
Yeah.
So I don't know. I would say, but Cliff Kingsbury is where I'd have to go.
Rick, your favorite hire and least favorite hire here for the head coaching position, and why?
I'll go with Harbaugh. After seeing the thing with Ian Cunningham, I think it's going to be Matt Ryan, Cunningham, and Stefanski, which I'm okay with. Worst, I just don't want to see a coordinator get our head coaching position. I want an established head coach from the past however many years come in and take that role. I don't want to see, a defensive guy who's been a coordinator and he's crushed it and let's give him his opportunity. I don't even want to see like the third time he's been a head coach. Let's give him a fourth opportunity. And maybe that's kind of how Stefanski is as well. But I'm hoping to get somebody that's really established, was a head coach last year. I think as long as we do that, I think we'll be good.
So I was going to go with my favorite. Obviously, it's got to be John Harbaugh. I was really kind of heavy on Clint Kingsbury there for a little while. I mean, not Kingsbury, Clint Kubiak.
Exactly.
But you just never know with what you get there when you go from a coordinator position. But my least favorite, I've seen his name a lot the past 2 days, Brian Flores. I want somebody that is established. I know he's been a great coach where he's been, but I want that big time name like John Harbaugh or like a Stefanski that's proven he can take teams to the playoffs. A lot least favorited team than what the Atlanta Falcons are at that point in 2020. The Cleveland Browns should have not made the playoffs. Stefanski had a lot to do with the 11-5 season. So that's my two favorite. And then my least favorite would have to be Brian Flores or Pete Carroll. I don't want the Pete Carroll.
That's a good. I didn't think about that.
I didn't even. That was so low. I didn't even consider it.
I don't want to land a Pete Carroll in Atlanta. Headed to the comment section real quick, man, because they are going crazy tonight. My guy Charleston said, I would love to see John Harbaugh come in and watch Todd Monken develop Michael Penix Jr., plus Jeff Ulbrichts and Matt Ryan. Charlie says, with Joe Flacco / Kirk Cousins with new contract, that is a friendly for both. And then obviously 1-2 Super Bowls. Our guy David said, there are so many scenarios that can happen. Sterling Woods said he was the Howie and Ozzie. Need I say more? Charleston said, with the Ravens out of the playoffs, how soon could the Falcons hire John H., or do you believe he would do his due diligence? I think with the amount of teams that are offering him interviews, I think at this point in his career, he's looking for money. Your guys' thoughts?
Well, and, Mr. Blank's hungry for a winner. I mean, I think, once the front office is settled and everybody's in place, I don't think that Mr. Blank would really have an issue with paying him. And, it's, of the available ones that are established, I think that Harbaugh would be the best fit for our, team culture. One thing that he would bring is stability. The Ravens were consistent winners. He was head coach there for 16, 17 seasons? He was there for a long time, and, they were always in contention, and that's what we desperately need.
Yep. Cody?
When I look at these teams, John Harbaugh is not going to the Tennessee Titans. He's not going to the Arizona Cardinals. He's not going to the Las Vegas Raiders.
No.
He might go to New York Giants because it's New York, maybe, and they had some potential. Maybe Cleveland and stay in the same division, but Cleveland is a perennial I can't even say that because I kind of feel like the Falcons and Cleveland Browns are the same team. So I really shouldn't say that. But if you're looking at overall talent and potential, except for the quarterback issue, which in his perspective may not be an issue, I don't think Atlanta's the best option.
I think so too. I really do. I think they're the best option. Cody, your thoughts?
Yeah.
And they're very similar to the Ravens, minus Lamar Jackson. Very similar.
I'll say, but when you get Michael Penix back, you not quite as mobile as Lamar, but you got the big arm.
Not quite as mobile as Lamar.
But
just
I digress. Just a little bit, not quite as mobile as Lamar, but no ACL injury. I'll say, but Arthur Blank could pay him. I think if Arthur has to pay him, he's going to have to pay him. Just do it. What do we have to lose at this point? It doesn't count towards your salary cap, towards players. It doesn't. Arthur Blank is a wealthy man. We all know that. He is a successful businessman. And if you got to write the check, because it's do you want to win this thing or not? And sometimes if you want to go get that thing, sometimes you got to throw the cash around a little bit.
Yep.
Throw that money.
Sell that yacht, Arthur. If that's what you got to do, sell the yacht and pay John.
See, so last topic before we get ready to do our shout outs for tonight. Worst case scenario hires for the Atlanta Falcons. Mine kind of shit. Not Raheem Morris again.
Raheem Morris
we can close on a different topic. I got a lot of topics here. Let's see. Breaking the top here.
By the way, Raheem, if you go to Carolina, fuck you.
It says why the Falcons can't afford another safe hire. Why? I mean, what if the Falcons go safe hire here instead of? I mean, what would you call a safe hire? What's the definition of safe hire? John Harbaugh is a pretty safe hire, right?
I don't think necessarily that's I mean, it's safe, yes, because he's successful, but I'm thinking more like I wouldn't necessarily call it a safe hire. I'd call it a familiar hire. You know, the Raheem Morrises of the world.
Which one?
Oh, instead of calling it a safe hire, more of a familiar hire like Raheem Morris would be, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, you know, guy, you know, he's been around the organization, you know, never, you know, kind of got some sort of experience, blah, blah, blah. Let's bring him in and let him bring in his buddies. And it's just that to me is more of a no familiar hire. Safe hire, John Harbaugh, yes. I'm okay with that kind of safe hire. Familiar hire, absolutely not.
Yep, I agree 100%.
Let's see. Charleston says, I want to see Kingsbury go to the Chiefs OC and either Stefanski or Matt Nagy as the Titans.
I can see Matt Nagy being the coach.
Matt Nagy? Where is Matt Nagy from? I don't even know the name.
He was head coach in Chicago for a while before Ben Johnson.
Now I can picture his
actually,
face.
he was there before Eberflus, I believe.
Didn't we bring him in to interview him as the head coach?
I believe we did.
Yeah.
That's why I know the name. Super Cantrana with the comment says Kubiak Ulbrich combo would be good, or have John Harbaugh bringing his team. Stefanski is questionable. Steph had Mayfield and Flacco to help him at QB. Steph without a QB is just the Browns. Chat, your thoughts?
I somewhat agree, but I somewhat disagree because, you know, to Rick's point earlier, I mean, look at what he did, you know, in Cleveland. It's kind of like what Dan Reeves did for us, you know, back in the late 90s. I mean, he took the pieces that he had. You know, he had Jamal Anderson already, you know, bruising back. Chris Chandler, an old injury-prone veteran quarterback. He had two players that I can think of right off the bat that had Super Bowl experience, that being Tony Martin and Cornelius Bennett. Finished 14-2 and made it to the Super Bowl. And then, of course, the following year, I don't know who was GM then. I don't know if it was Ken Harrock or whoever, but let Tony Martin walk. Jamal held out. There were a lot of injuries, and it just pretty much ruined everything. But with a little bit of stability in the front office, you know, I think that Stefanski could be successful here if he's given the job.
Cody, real quick before we get to you about this topic, hashtag DFU to be entered in the live raffle. On the next live, we'll do the raffle. Well, really, I want to get more people. We only got like 5 people right now. So we need a hashtag DFU to get some names on this raffle giveaway, and then we'll announce what we're giving away once we have the entries. Cody, your thoughts of Stefanski? The comment here from Super Cantrana says Stefanski is questionable. He had Mayfield and Flacco to help him at QB. Says Steph without a QB, which is what he will be walking into in Atlanta. It's just the Browns. Cody, your thoughts?
Man, I mean, I don't have an issue with Stefanski, but it just, again, I guess I just haven't seen enough, you know, from the Cleveland Browns, because, I mean, it just feels like they're, and again, I think this is more of a Cleveland Brown, you know, a Cleveland Brown issue than a Stefanski issue, just because the Browns are just such a cursed fan, you know, such a cursed team. Like, as much as we complain about the Falcons, I'm so glad I'm not a Browns fan. 100% on that. Like, I am so glad.
There were times this year I felt like a Browns fan.
I'll say there definitely were times, but so, I mean, could he be a good coach? Yeah, I mean, obviously, like to Rick's point, earlier in the podcast, you don't win, coach of the year 2 times in a row by being bad at what you do. So obviously, he's got some sort of idea on how to take, and he did take the Browns. My only thing though is the way that he mishandled. I think he really mishandled the Shedeur Sanders thing. I'm not sitting here, and I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, well, if he had started Shedeur, from game 1, the Browns would have been anything special. I don't think that, but I think I don't know. For me, it's just real hard to not look at it and be like, well, you're coming for the Browns, and you got fired from the Browns, so I'm not really sure I want you here in Atlanta.
Rick,
I don't know enough about his situation beyond like what we read off, the headlines. What I did see in the comments was a lot of Browns fans kept saying the owners were controlling the game and controlling the team and making him deal with it, making him just take whatever they were controlling. So he didn't really have control of his own situation. Then they blamed him for it, is what basically the gist of it was. And the one thing I will say is if he comes here, he won't have to deal with that. I don't think the Atlanta Falcons are that type of organization. I think they're a very collaborative effort. That's why I hate when people say Arthur Blank dips his hands into everything and he controls it. Like, no, he doesn't. He sits there at a table of 12 people. They go over the ideas. He gives his input, and then they make their decision together. So, maybe his personality and the situations he was dealing with, this will be a better situation for him. But I'm still going to go with Harbaugh as being the guy. So,
Yep. Absolutely. Chat, hit that like button, leave a comment, subscribe, leave the hashtag DFUs in the chat so you can be entered in a free raffle of Falcon merch here from DFU. Hit that like button, subscribe.
Let me hold on one second. Let's ramp it up, man. I'll give you all a free gift we're going to throw in. You don't know what the real raffle is going to be, but I'll just focus.
So we got a raffle and a giveaway courtesy of my guy Rick. We have 2 new subscribers tonight, guys. There's a live video has been going on, so shout out to you guys for that. We got a hashtag DFU Super Cantrana. I have you written down, sir. So all you have to do, guys, is be subscribed and hit the hashtag DFU. We have 4 entries right now on the raffle giveaway. It's all Falcon merch. I'm sure there'll be something you guys could
Here we go right
appreciate.
Now. Part of the raffle, we'll do this for the let's go with, I don't know what you guys are giving away, but we'll do it as the second place person. The second place person, Julio Jones bobblehead.
Oh, okay. Dope.
Fresh in the box.
So I was thinking when we got the amount of people in here, you can do that for the second place, and then for the first place, I was going to give away like
we have you in the chat. Let's go.
Like a nice Falcons hoodie or a jersey.
Look, I'll show you this how official it is. I still got the plastic on it.
Oh man,
nice.
That's
look at him. Y'all remember when Julio used to smile for us? That's before he got on the radio. Y'all remember that radio call he did?
I'm out of here.
Shannon Sharp, thanks, man.
B Lane says Penix equals lemon. Shit.
Oh.
B Lane, hit that subscribe button, brother. Glad to have you in the comments tonight. Charleston says, I would love to be a fly on the wall in the draft room of Matty Ice, John H. Todd Monken, Ian Cunningham, and Jeff Ulbrich, etc. And Joshua Blank. Yeah, Joshua Blank with his hands in it, it seems getting closer and closer as Blank gets older each and every year. The Atlanta Falcons miss the playoffs. So I think you will see a change of hands maybe in the next year or 3. The Atlanta Falcons could make that announcement.
Dude, could you imagine that? You know how old his
Davis
kid is?
said he has a flag he'll add for the 3rd place. So we have 3 giveaways, guys. We have 3 giveaways here on the channel. Hashtag DFU is all you have to do to get in it. We'll be giving away 3 Falcon items, a Julio Jones bobblehead, a Falcon flag, and I'll give away we'll vote on it, either a hoodie or a jersey, and what number. We'll have to all decide.
Let's go.
That's 69. What we'll give away. Shit. With DFU on the back, like a customized jersey, DFU.
69 DFU jersey.
That's dope. Falcon fans, hit that like button, man. Appreciate all 37 viewers of you tonight from Twitch, YouTube, and from the Twitch side of things. Appreciate you guys for tuning in, as the last 3 streams have been tremendous for the channel. So thank you guys for all the love and support as we reach 1K here with DFU. Can't do it without you guys. Robert, we'll start with you, and I'll click through a couple more of these comments as you guys give out the shout outs, and we'll close this podcast out.
Well, shout out to the good Lord above for another day and another opportunity, and shout out to you guys for coming on tonight and letting me be a part of it. It's always an honor and a pleasure. Shout out to our viewers, our subscribers, and especially the new subscribers tonight. Thank you very much. Can't do this without you. Just please, pass it along. Any other Falcon fans, even if they're not Falcon fans, just, have them check us out and have them subscribe.
Yes, sir.
Shout out to the Falcons themselves. They're our main topic. Without them, got nothing to talk about, and just excited to see what's coming down the pipe. It's going to be fun.
Yes, sir.
And of course, shout out to my family, Brianna, Peyton, Zach, and Christy. I love y'all. And as always, rise up.
Rise up, Mr. Robert. Appreciate you being here tonight. Cody, shout outs for tonight, brother. Always a great time talking Falcon football with the crew.
Yes, sir. I say follow Robert's footsteps there. I say got to think, God, we got another day to wake up, do it all again, be back.
Appreciate you, bro.
Talk about our Falcons, man. I'll say I think this is the most excited I've been for an off season in a long time. Man, shout out to you guys coming on, day 3, talking Dirty Bird football. We'll always love it. This is, one of the best part of my days is getting to talk to y'all about Falcon football. Guys, shout out to our viewers that keep liking and subscribing. Y'all are showing up big. And, y'all show up big for us. We're going to show up big for you, with the giveaways and stuff. Special guests. I'm staying in touch with Mike the best that I can. He's a very busy man. So hopefully I'll hear from him tomorrow. Hopefully soon Mike Johnson's on here so you guys can, hear from Mike and, get ask Mike questions. And Mike's a great guy. I would say, I love having Mike on the podcast. He's in touch with the team. He's in touch with Matt Ryan. He's in touch with, he's a good guy to have on this podcast. So, we do all this reaching out and stuff for you guys, that keep liking and watching and subscribing. We want to do special things for y'all. So, we'll try to get, I'm trying to get Mike back on as soon as possible, details to be determined. But other than that, guys, rise up.
Rise up, Cody. Appreciate the outlook for trying to get Mike Johnson on us. His third appearance here on the show now. It'd be great to have Mike back. We could always reach back out to people like John Abraham is too, as he said that he's always more than happy to come on the show and talk Falcon football. I figured we'd wait to reach out to John once we figure out what happens with this defense and the change and how to aspect, if we get a new DC, how the things work out, because he's been through it all. He's been in the league for quite a while. Sack leader here in Atlanta. So always a good time talking with John. Rick, shout outs for tonight, brother.
First off, I have to give a shout out. I'm going to give it to who is my guy. I've met him multiple different times. He gave me playoff tickets to the Packers game, last game in the Georgia Dome. I would not have got him without this man. I had a close connection with him. That's how I got my signed jersey, signed book. Arthur Blank did something that I did not expect him to do. If you would have asked me, is he going to do that? People ask me, I was like, nah, he's going to wait.
I remember this story.
Right? And that man not only got rid of the coach and the GM within 4 hours of beating the Saints, our number one rival, he also got rid of Rich McKay. Not got rid of him, but moved him. That shows me that he's really fed up and ready. That he's really like, okay. Like he sees what we see. It's not just the coaching. There's something fundamentally. And when you read what they went through, they said the structure of the way they handle things and the way they handled this situation, we didn't like the way they handled this and that. That lets me know that they were really paying attention. They were really dialed in. They've been thinking about this a while. They're doing their homework, which a billionaire, a very successful business owner would always do, and, expect them to do that. So shout out to Arthur Blank for really doing the things, feeling the heartbeat of the fans and taking swift action. Like really, I think us as Falcons fans, I don't even care who you bring in at this point. That lets me know at least the person at the top is very serious about winning.
Yeah.
So I'm excited about the next season, no matter what happens. The next shout out I'm going to give, which some of you may not know this about me, is I'm actually a Miami Hurricane. I'm not a Georgia Bulldog. And on Thursday, we are on the brink of hosting a national championship. If we win on Thursday and beat Ole Miss, which I expect to happen, we will be hosting a national championship. I've been waiting 21 years. When I was going into college, Miami won our first national championship. I was on top of the world. I thought we were going to win 2 in a row, and Ohio State robbed us. And then for 20 years, it was absolute misery.
David said, mute that.
It's time. Let's go. Yo, I swear to God. Hey,
it's a good feeling, brother. It's a great feeling.
Don't you let Miami Hurricanes win another championship. You'll never hear the end of it. I swear to God. Every rapper and their mother, there'll be rap videos. There'll be people on yachts, man. The whole city will be going crazy. But I'm just super excited because I watch Georgia as my second team. And I get excited. I want Georgia to win the championship and all of that because I haven't had anything to be excited about. I'm a Falcons and a Hurricanes fan, man. Come on, give me a break.
My guy Kenneth said, "Oh yeah, that is the second time they have allegedly moved from Rich McKay. That's why the Falcons are called Tampa Light due to all the Tampa rejects Rick has brought over." Yeah, but I think this time it's officially official. I think they announced that he is no longer. Like, this is a public announcement, not a hearsay, she say.
Yeah.
But did you also see in the letter, which let's also give Arthur Blank credit for this as well. He said the secession plan had been in place for 3 to 5 years. So they were already planning to do this. They were just waiting for the right timing. They're like, well, hey, if we're going to wipe the slate, let's go ahead and do it this year. So it sounds like Arthur Blank's been well aware for a couple of years.
Yep. Share the light. Appreciate the comment, brother. Hawks fan. We're some Hawk fans here too. A couple of us. I'm not
ain't
sure.
Talking about Trae Young yet.
Yeah, so we're not talking about that yet.
Bye, Trae.
Possible trade on the way for Trae Young.
Ice is melted.
Man, hit that subscribe button, brother. Glad to have you here. Falcon fans, big shout out to all you guys. Appreciate you guys coming through and showing the love, hitting that subscribe button, leaving the likes, leaving the comments. We're at 1 hour and 6 minutes here on the podcast with 36 viewers, 3 giveaways to happen. All you have to do is hashtag DFU in a live video to be entered in the raffle to win either a hoodie or jersey, a bobblehead, and a Falcon flag. 3 giveaways here on the channel. Hashtag DFU to be entered. We got like 5 entries right now, guys. So let's get those entries up. Shout out to the wife taking care of the babies in the other room. Shout out to the good Lord above for giving us another day to get on here and talk some Falcon football. And as always, appreciate my awesome panel of co-hosts. Thank you guys for coming through tonight to talk some Falcon football. Falcon fans, as we always say here at DFU, it's always A-Town down, rise up. We out of here, man.
F the Saints.